Welcome to igmGuru. igmGuru is one of the global leading online training and certification provider for IT expert by the skilled IT gurus to help them achieve their professional goals.
So what is a business builder? Well, there is already a data layer, a data builder, where most of the modeling happens. The IT does a lot of things in the IT layer or the data layer or the data builder. Everything is one and same. Then why there is a need to have a business builder? Even on a data builder, you could build a model that we have seen. We have built analytical models, and they are good enough to be consumed on SAC. Before 6 months or so, it wasn't the case. Within the data builder, there was no modeling. There was no analytical model. I think, if I'm not wrong, maybe even before 6 months or 9 months to 12 months, there was no modeling possible in data builder. A modeling, more of a semantic modeling was only possible in a business layer. But now that you have a analytical model possibility in data layer, why business builder? So as the name says, the business builder, it is focused, it is targeted for the business users, like super users or key users who can try out some modeling. They can build their own semantics on top of the data layer. Yeah. So say there is this business user having a requirement to maybe just, identify, just calculate the revenue, year-to-date revenue, for example, right? And he also has to compare with the planned revenue, like a variance analysis. So he's basically comparing two KPIs or two key figures, and that's what his requirement is. That's what he has to report on. Yeah. So then in a typical environment, in a typical project, what happens is that even if it's a small enhancement to an existing report or a new report, it can be a small one, big one, doesn't matter. The requirement comes from the business, it comes to the IT via whatever means, right? And then they sit together, discuss, do requirements engineering sessions, and then put some specification documents. And then there's a lot of this delay just to be able to build two KPIs. It has to come all the way from the IT layer, IT builder, assuming that they already exist in source systems. They're already there. We just need to read them, bring it to the data layer, data builder, put them on, persist them on views or whatever, and we keep it, and then finally building a model or giving it out to the business users. So imagine the time taken and the process complexity here, right? So having a business builder, a business end user, given he has some basic skill set here on reporting on what a fact means, what a dimension means, and how he can basically build a simple model or a view. Provided he has that knowledge, he or she can use a business builder quite independent of the IT people or independent of the so-called data engineers, right? Perhaps the IT layer, right? So it needs no intervention or minimal intervention from the IT, such that the business end users can independently work. They decide their own semantics. They decide then how the business or what the business definition of a particular dimension can be. They can decide upon the names. They can on the fly change the properties of these entities, the business entities, meaning the dimensions and facts. But that's the whole purpose, of using a business builder. So in a way, business builder is loosely coupled with the data builder. When I say loosely coupled, although SAP may use this term, they do say it's loosely coupled or independent of the data builder. It's not completely independent in a way. We still need a foundation. We still need a data foundation. Like if you would compare this with a BO, if you're familiar with the BO universes and so on, those days, we used to build a data foundation and then the business foundation on top. And then there will be a universe, right? The IT people will build a big universe that may cater to many different reporting requirements. Yeah, there can be 10 different reporting requirements. As long as this universe has all the data that is there, and it can only be growing and growing. And that's the foundation I'm talking about. So those different reports can consume data, can get the data that they need, the fields that they need from the underlying universe, right? I could somewhat relate to that for simplicity. Yes, that's how it is. So IT or the data layer, it's a data foundation. You could have a number of spaces. You could have spaces built based on source systems. You could have spaces built based on departments, say FI or supply chain, inventory, and so on. And then all the data that they may need. There could be some future focused thing also right here, but it depends on how prepared these teams are. But at least they need to have data up to date in the IT layer, right? So then the business people can consume this data and build their models on top using something called business entities. They're nothing but dimensions and facts. Okay. To build business entities, we need some tables, some views. For example, we dealt with addresses, some master data, simple master data objects. We built using business partners data, address, employees, and so on, isn't it? So they are good candidates. Such data can be good candidates for building business entities. Like in this case, dimension. A fact is the same as a fact table, wherein you need to have, when I say fact table, a semantic usage of fact, or a view of type fact, such that it has a measure to build a fact. That's nothing but business entities. Yeah, so we are saying create semantically focused business scenarios independently from changes in the data layer. So you may also agree that it enables self-service BI to an extent. End users can build their own models. They can build their own reports on SAC. Quickly, the stories. They can build consumption models and consume these consumption models or stories on SAC. Yeah. So that will enable self-service BI. And then they can collaborate with IT within one system. When we say IT, with the data layer, with the data people, both in terms of systems and people and the teams here, yeah, and collaborate with other business users also. So there are other business users that may want to consume a fact model that a business user from team A has built. Team B wants this fact model or even the consumption model or any business entities from the team A, so they can share. They can collaborate by using sharing concept. Yeah. Sharing can be done in no more than one way, like in a repository explorer or by using space sharing or sharing of objects between spaces and so on. Yeah. Now, business entity, what it is, it can be built on a view in practice or on a table as well, which is existing in the data layer. And it often represents an object with information about products or sales, like product in this case is the product dimension. This dimension entity is will be its transaction. Yeah, that's a fact. And that includes all the attributes and measures. So a business entity will also provide an interface with to the underlying data layer. Because business entities are the foundation elements, foundation objects, or the fundamental objects in the business builder. Without them, you cannot proceed further. They are the fundamental objects or entities in the business layer, and they provide interface to the data layer. Because you're reading objects from the data builder, right? They can be either a fact or a dimension. They're mostly independent from the data layer or loosely coupled. And one interesting thing is that the users can have version management. There's a good version management for the business entities. You could have multiple versions of the same entity because they could go about changing the business entities, right? Without changing the underlying data objects, they can very well make some modifications in the business builder with the business entities. And they can have multiple versions of the same object. Okay, so everything that's created in the business builder can be only created after the data has been brought into the space in the data layer. Yeah, that's what it is. So simple diagram here, you have data entities, data builder. By data entities, we say tables, views. You have in business entities, terms and facts. And you could also always build more than one fact model. You could combine dimensions and facts and build a fact model. It's very similar to an analytical data set or an analytical data model in the underlying data builder, right? We can have many different fact models we want. It depends on how the users want their modeling to be. Yeah. And then they can combine many different fact models or transaction models, yeah, or analytical models in this sense, in one big consumption model. And that consumption model can fulfill many different reporting requirements or story requirements if they're building on SAC. Yeah. So in Business Builder, we have consumption model as it's representative to be able to do analytics on SAC. Yeah. By the way, this can only be used on SAC, not on any other third-party tools.
And so I'm from the IT team. I've created one CV, one view in the data builder. I want to share it. I will share my space, right? For it to appear in the business builder of the user.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So
do you mean okay, in the data layer you have shared an object from your space to another user space, is it?
Yes, to the business user, to the user.
To another user. Yeah, okay. So then this object, this table or view will be in his space. Okay.
I have to share the space, to share my space, right? For the business user to get access to my view.
No, you don't share the space. You can provide access to your space.
Yeah, provide access. Okay.
Yeah. Sharing objects there's nothing like space share. Well, yeah, space sharing meaning, I mean, it's nothing but providing access to the other users to your space. Yeah, it's nothing but adding them as members to your space. Yeah, and you could provide read privilege.
Yeah, right? It's more adding this user to my space, right?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay, and then she will be able to access it via the business builder. But then when the user connects, is there a way to make him see only the business builder and not the data builder? Can we restrict him from viewing only the business builder?
Well, we could use authorization scenarios and overall, not just that, but overall how the security is designed, right? How we do security and user management along with space management. Like in this case, another user, you don't want this user to see business builder at all. It's not possible. Business builder is there on the system, but we can always try and prevent the user from seeing the business entities. The business
because
entities.
Whatever can be done in the data builder, it can be done in the business builder also, right?
In terms of security, in terms of access control,
in terms of development, same thing.
You can't. No. You cannot
do a lot. The user can create a view, SQL view in business builder.
No, you cannot. That's all that happens in IT. Only the modeling part, when I say the modeling, semantically rich model or semantic focused modeling, you could do in both data builder and business builder. You have modeling possibility in both the places, but you cannot do everything that you do in IT layer, IT builder. No. Like,
But
you
the
can't.
business user then, if you are telling me we cannot restrict him to the data builder, then it means that he will be able to create do exactly the same development as the developer, right? If he has access to the
So if he has access to the data builder, you're saying.
data builder.
Is that what you're saying?
Anyway,
Yeah.
you cannot restrict him. He will see the data builder also, right?
No, see, so okay, so you have a space, okay, and there is a user and end user, okay. Now, this user is added as a member in your space, but you can always give the user a read privilege, read only access. So he can only display objects and not do anything. Yeah. But then completely preventing a user from even seeing the data builder or like not being able to access the remote tables and so on, that is not possible. Yeah, any user can still have access. If they're interested to do create some objects in data builder, one may as well do. But the thing is,
yeah, but then they will be able to replicate tables.
Yeah, which is not what we want. That's why we very often use the space management to do this. Yeah. So we will always have IT driven spaces. Also, we will have LOB or business specific spaces. Okay. And those users will be added as members only to that space, not to the IT space. In like both our projects, none of our end
But they will
users,
be able to replicate in their space.
they cannot. They will not be able to even access the IT space. And if you go inside their LOB space, the business space, there won't be any connections. You cannot have any connections there. Yeah, that way we can restrict. Like we are doing the same in our project. That's how it is done. It's standard. Sometimes it may go, the level of accesses can be a bit more comprehensive. Yeah, it can go one step above by including users management, by bringing in a better governance, security and governance design, and so on. The standard, we always have one space for the business user. Only the business users will be added to the space, right? Yeah, of course, an IT or admin person can be added to the space so he or she can manage and maintain it. But the end users will have only like access to that space, and I mean in that space you can't do anything. The end users cannot do anything. Okay. The process is that we will only choose the objects that they need, and share it with them. And there, all the shared objects will be only read-only. You cannot modify them. And if you don't have any connections in the space, you cannot do any import remote tables, nothing. You can't do anything. All right. That's how we can restrict a user. But that user very well should be able to access Business Builder. That's what the Business Builder is for. The idea is to why SAP has this separate layer that's quite independent of the data layer, is to be able to enable business users to independently work on their requirements, to enable self-service BI, to minimize the intervention or to eliminate intervention from IT, so on. Yeah. To reduce the turnaround times in terms of build and so on, right? And not in terms of build, in terms of modeling, whatever models they want to build. Yeah. I think tomorrow we can see how we can create dimensions and facts and the others in upcoming sessions. Yeah.
And what is the authorization scenario here? I think we have not seen that thought, right? Authorization.
We have not seen data access control and authorization scenario. Yeah, it's somewhat similar to analysis authorization. Yeah, so you have to have a data access control underneath. Okay, fine, good.
Yeah. Good.
Okay, we can stop here. Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching the video. For full course, please visit www.igmguru.com and enroll today.